Yeah. 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 Hello and welcome to the Sexual World Records podcast. I am your guest host, Dustin Ribka. I normally host a show called Sex Party with Dustin Ribka, which you can find wherever you find podcasts, plus YouTube. Had to plug my show. This week on this show, we have an incredible guest, Laci Foxx. Laci is a content creator who is now moving into mainstream porn. We talk about a ton of stuff. This episode is hilarious, valuable, horny, all the things you would expect from a Sexual World Records podcast, because Sexual World Records, we're like the Guinness Book of World Records just for like horny, raunchy, crazy stuff, right? So in this episode, Laci and I talk about what it's like to create the kind of content she's creating. What kind of content is she creating? Oh, you're going to find out. She also talks about her experience being a fluffer at a gangbang, milking. We talk about it. We get into it. And forced orgasms. That and so much more. So without further ado, check out my conversation with Laci Foxx. Laci Foxx, welcome to the Sexual World Records podcast. We just went through some audio issues. We worked it all out. Podcasting is a lovely art form, so everybody, make sure you have your audio issues taken care of. But besides that, we got to know each other for, a couple of minutes, right? Not really, but we're going to get to know you now. So like for the people who don't know who you are,
speed dating.
Yeah, with audio problems, right? For the people who don't know who you are, people are like living under a rock, maybe whatever. And you are a newcomer to the industry, kind of, sort of. So, like, can you talk about who you are and what it is that you do?
Sure. I am a content creator. I do solo work and I make porn, amateur porn, in short. Geared mostly toward fetish. The fetish aspect is really interesting.
Yeah, let's talk about that for a second. Okay, when you say fetish, it could mean anything because there's fetishes within fetishes, right? And everybody has their own thing. We don't knock anybody's kink. If it's illegal, we'll knock it, and whatever, sure.
Right.
But I think that, to me, if I was a content creator like yourself that was dealing just specifically in kink and more of that angle, right? I'm sure you've seen some wild shit.
Yes, I have. I started out originally selling panties on a specific site. There's a handful of them. And when I got on there, I was expecting like a bunch of like frilly pictures and that kind of stuff. Like, oh, here's this bra I have. I'm going to sell it. Underwear. There's so much raunchy shit on there. And it was great because it was extremely eye-opening and educational on so many levels. Everything from like scat play to feet to come, use this, use that, all kinds. It was great.
So what are your primary sites that you're working off of? Like, is it OnlyFans? Is it something different? Is it all of it?
I started out when I branched off of the painting thing because I wanted to do more stuff. Started out on OnlyFans. So my solo stuff is on OnlyFans and Clips for Sale, which is a lot more fetish geared. And then a lot of my non-solo stuff, because I kind of branched out past that, is on like ManyVids and Loyal Fans. And it's kind of incorporated still kind of fetish type BDSM kind of things, like impact play or even just like feet stuff, which a lot of people can relate to. And like everyone knows about feet stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like that's like such a thing. So
I read somewhere like 49% of people are into feet, but I don't feel like that's accurate. Only because I feel like it's such a tight niche in its own. And a lot of things I feel are kink related that maybe people don't realize that they are, or their preferences. I'm still learning about myself.
Yeah, totally. I'm sure. Well, what would you say is kink related that people don't realize is kink related? Like, give me an example.
Um, Messes like wet and messy, which is also called wham, which are things like paint play or mud. It can get more specific into like bodily fluids as well as, that kind of stuff, food. Um, so if you've ever gotten like something on your hands and you're like playing with it, sensory,
Mm,
and
mm,
some people, the difference between like a kink and a fetish is like a kink, you kind of enjoy incorporating it into like your sex play, and a fetish is like, I really have to have this to get off.
mm.
So, as far as that goes, like I'm into wham stuff. I'm into water sports, but only giving right as now. I've not really developed a receiving end for that. Somewhat, a little bit, but more giving as far as water sports goes. Um, but those are the type of things I don't think sometimes people realize. Other people like colors, like certain colors, wearing like red lingerie or whatever. That's, oh my gosh, I love the red. So maybe those little things, which, it could be just to personal preference, but that kind of stuff. Just my opinion.
So totally, and I respect that opinion because you're right. It does walk that line. It makes me think like when you say like the sensory shit, right? It kind of borders on like sexual ASMR. And if you see like ASMR creators on YouTube, like even they are like leaning into like hey, I'm your teacher or I'm your stepsister or whatever, right? And it's just the sound of
Mm-hmm.
whatever. And so you're right. Like there is this like almost like this crossover gray area. I think that's really, really interesting, actually.
Yeah, it absolutely is. And when I started doing porn off on my own, before I've worked with a few production companies, there's stuff that's not out yet, so I can't really divulge in that. But when I was just working alone, as opposed to working with other people, there is a lot of things that are and should be incorporated, like safe words. What are your no's? Like, what are you not comfortable doing when we have a scene together? It's even called scenes, which is the same
Mhm.
thing in BDSM. Like, you do like an impact scene or, whatever. It's like a sex scene, or we did this one scene and, it was just a BJ or a point of view type of thing. So, there's the gray area, like you said, and I noticed a lot of it kind of in that regards blended together when I started working with other people, and I really enjoyed that aspect because it was really comfortable for me. I was knowledgeable in that. As far as like the BDSM goes, I dabbled when I was younger and kind of laid back, away from it for a while, and I missed it like a lot. So I kind of got back into it again and learned a lot of new things. Technology is advanced, education, which is superior, and that kind of stuff. So I think it's great. The gray areas are good because I think in those areas we can kind of learn from each other and know that it's okay to try different things or say no if you don't like them.
You strike me as someone who is not only like doing what you're doing and like making money in a career, but like someone who actually enjoys what they're doing and like someone who cares about, like you said, the education piece of it and like, ooh, where can this go, where can that go? And you really like just like the look in your eyes, the way that you talk about it, you can tell that you're really into it and you're really like interested in like exploring like where the hell these things come from, where they go, and what, and if that even matters. So I think that's like a really important thing to point out because, some creators are just like hot and they just do their thing and they make money and that's great and we love that. But then others are like actually into the process and like what's going on in the psyche. So I can definitely tell that you're like really into it.
I am, and I love learning. I love learning about it. Um, I love learning about one of my kinks is knowing other people's kinks because I feel like that. And not only is it very personal, but also if the person's willing to share information about like why they think they might have that kink or etc. Like, I think it's just completely interesting and it's fascinating, and I love learning about it. I love learning about people and how the things that they like. And if I have a custom order come through, I probably just 20 questions them to death, because I'm just like, what do you want me to wear? What do you want me to look like? How do you want me to, all that kind of stuff. And I think it's really awesome in that regards, that everyone is so versatile and different. And the whole thing is just really, can go anywhere, really. It's great. I do like it a lot.
Yeah, I mean, and like the psychology piece, I said this on my podcast a million times. Like the psychology of sex is what really does it for me, right? Like the why, like you said, like the why, the how, like why does it feel? What does it feel like? Like that for me, it's like the brain is, the number one in control sex organ, and so it's like you're right, like to have that information or to like discover like what does it for someone else is like such a fucking, and like I've had like
it's like opening a present,
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah. And it's like, you like I've had tons of thoughts throughout my day, every day, right? And that aren't necessarily sexual, that make me feel sexual. And it's a psychology thing. So I think that's something that's like rarely talked about. So I think that's very, very, awesome that you're into that. And you can so tell that you're into that kind of stuff, which is really, really cool. So you did mention like custom orders, right? What would you say is your like favorite custom orders to get?
I had one of my first audio ones recently. Somebody wanted me to read some poetry. So that was very interesting. I'd never done that before. Otherwise, I would say my favorites are, I like to kind of dress up a little or put on makeup, do my hair a certain way. So the specifics I enjoy. Lately, I've been getting a lot of like femdom stuff, which is fine. I guess it's kind of like surprising that I can be authoritative, because I'm kind of, I don't know, nightmares wrapped in bubble gum.
Okay. Explain that a little bit.
I really love Halloween and like gory, witchy stuff. Like I dabble in witchcraft here and there. That's whatever. But I am kind of a dark humored type person. But within the BDSM community, I kind of identify as a middle, which is like a person. It's not age play. I mean, it's age play. I'm sorry. It's not age regression. So in that regards, I feel more comfortable in a playful mood, which for me was between like 13 and 17. So I get like really, really excited about stuff, but I'm really naughty. Like I'm not a brat, but I'm really like naughty in the regards of with play. Like I can be really creative and dirty, and a lot of people with my authority, and they don't expect fuck my twat to come out of my mouth in the middle of a scene unless they're like, hey, can you be a little bit more authoritative? And then I just lay into it and I'm like, all the things. So I'm kind of really bubbly, like unicorn on the outside, and on the inside I'm like, oh, I'm so dark and dirty.
Well, I mean, people love a good mix, right? I'm sure, like you, and to keep them on their fucking toes is magic, And I think there's a lot to be said about the tease and then the payout and sort of like the art of that, because I think a lot of people potentially don't realize that that's what turns them on, and also like a lot of people don't realize like how to pull that off. That sort of like, okay, we're going to tease for this long and then boom, pattern disrupts. Oh shit, what's going on? And then there are these little payouts in there. And I think with content creation, people want it to be dressed up. They want it to be teased, and then they want that payout, or whatever. And so it sounds like that's, you really like mastered that, along with
I hope
being
so.
able to like satisfy yourself and like do things that interest you. Cause I couldn't imagine, I mean, working a job that you don't like or you're not interested in, sucks. Doesn't matter if it's at a factory, wherever. If you're a lawyer, like, God, I can't wait to fucking get out of here. You're like drinking from your desk, whatever. But like, even like doing sex work that you don't want to do. It would be, just like mind numbing and shit. So it's really cool that you enjoy what you do. I love that.
I love
I
it so
really, really
much.
love that.
And I
Yeah,
really
no,
like getting
that's
people
fucking awesome.
off.
Yeah. Well, I mean, do you feel like that? Like, do you feel rewarded when you do that?
Yeah, I do, because I feel like I did my job that they wanted. I fulfilled their fantasy. I guess.
Yeah. Mhm. Yeah. It's like, fucking another one down, right? Like,
Yeah, and I
there you
know,
go.
and that's another thing too with like kink and fetish, and it's a world where those things are accepted because it's okay. And then they know, that if you've created that safe space for them to be able to be who they are and like what they like and do what they do, and as long as it's, safe, sane, legal, all the stuff, then it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing wrong with it.
Speaking of which, have you had a request for like, sorry, I can't do that? Do you have many like that?
I have some. I've had some in the past. I'm not into scat. I'm not a big scat person. So I turned that one down, unfortunately. And then a lot of like the mommy stuff, I have a hard time with. Otherwise, like I get it for other people, which is for me, it's just not for me in that regards. Like it's fine if it's for them, and I'll do it. Kind of. I just need to know where it's coming from.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, because it seems to be like divisive on the whole. I mean, we see like now like porn is like going through this like massive sort of like incesty fantasy kind of thing.
Yeah, the
Which,
really,
you know
really
what?
taboo stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, like, and to each their own. I'm not gonna knock that shit. I've seen all that shit. I've watched all of that stuff. Whatever, right? But like,
Oh, have you?
when you
What's your
first come,
favorite? No.
when I think a good step bro thing is fine. I think a good like daughter swap thing is fun. Like whatever, right?
I'm in the
I
MILF
think
realm, so I feel like I need to educate
sure.
myself more. A lot of people are like, "Are you?" And I'm
Well,
like, "Yeah."
I mean, I just think that like it depends on what you're in the mood for, and it depends on like yeah, I mean, it is getting like edgier and edgier and harder and harder and harder, obviously. But at the same time, there's something to that because I do think that there wouldn't be in the if you go to Pornhub in the top 5, like, mommy shit and like brother, sister, and like daughter, like whatever is it
Stepdad
always in the
stuff.
top 5.
Yeah.
And yeah. And so I just think that like part of it is like, do these people really want to fuck their sister? Probably not. Do they really want to like bang their dad? Probably not. But is it like this like rush of like, I shouldn't be doing this? Like, of
I don't know if I
course.
should be
And I think,
watching this. Yeah.
yeah. And I think that's the part that's like horny about it is it's like, it's very it gives you that like extra like, oh shit, like this is wrong, whatever. So, and like why are we not talking about that feeling? We don't have to talk about the content, right? But like
It's like
as
I stole a
a
cookie from the cookie jar.
exactly. It's
Are they gonna
whatever.
know I stole the cookie from the cookie jar? Are they gonna know I watched the taboo stuff? Yeah.
Well, the FBI might, but that's a whole different episode.
That's all on you, my guy.
Yeah. No, well, no, okay, that's not what I meant. I just mean
I know.
that's not what I
I'm
meant.
just teasing.
We're just joking.
We're really.
Yeah, but yeah, it's all actors and consensual. Everybody chill. Oh God. Yeah. Well, I mean, I think so. You started doing like your own content creation, like solo things, with what it sounds like, right? And then now, are you getting into more mainstream porn, like for companies, or is that something that
Yes.
you are interested? Okay, cool. That's very cool.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. I'm still, like I said, I'm learning as I go. So when you're focused on doing solo stuff, you're not looking for porn companies. You're not looking for production companies and magazines and things to push yourself with others. So you kind of have to learn that as you go, like just how I had to learn, oh, it's not just a panty site. Like They want a
Mm-hmm.
lot more. They want to watch me come in these panties before I send them to them. And they, I want to buy a video of
Mm-hmm.
that. Excuse me. So yeah, I love learning as I go, learning production companies, people that are there, who runs them, what they're looking for. Do I fit the narrative of their website? Like, do I look like, that person that they want on their website? So
Mm-hmm.
it's a lot of learning as I go. The hardest part for me is, I don't know how you identify, but for the other side, like I identify as she, her. So the male perspective, for me, it's really hard because I notice that there's a variety. Like a lot of guys, some will choose certain stars that they like they like all their stuff. And I don't know if it's like a certain, what they always produce, how they look, how their mannerisms. And then there's some, where I will sell like a video or something to one person and that's it. And other people, they'll subscribe and they'll watch all my stuff. So that's
Yeah.
the one thing I've not been able to pinpoint. It's just like, do people like individuals? Do they want to mix it up? Do they want to be like, oh, I want to watch a bunch of the same kind of content from like 20 different people? So that's what really gets me. So I'm still learning a lot, so much, because I kind of get particular, like a certain style of porn. Like Charles Zara, as I'll say it time and time again, has always been my favorite porn star. I just love the way he does stuff. But I watch a lot of other stuff too as well. So I haven't pinpointed it. I want to know.
Yeah, and I think it's murky, right? Because that's the human. Like we're never one thing, and like I love that this episode is like the science of porn, right? If anyone's listening, that would be a great episode title. So take it. But I think,
but we want you better give credit where credit's due.
I'm just the guest host, whatever. But like I think like for her, I mean, we're in here doing all the work. What the hell? No, I'm kidding. But I think that people, they aren't always one thing. Like for me, right? Like I have like my hit list of like of porn stars that I love, right? Like I've always had a thing for Tori Black. She's like, it's always been a fucking thing, right? But underneath that, there's like all of these other things, and I'm a fan of everything that she's done, sure, right? But like some days, like there's no Tory Black going on, whatever. And that's always like, I'm always jumping around, and it is like, in the 5 or 6 or 7 different things that I'm interested in. And then randomly I'm like, oh, wow. I just randomly clicked on this because like the girl looked hot, and like, now I like this fucking role play thing that's going on or whatever. Yes. Exactly. Flavor of the minute for me. So that's like how I am. And so I think, I think it lines up perfectly with you, because it sounds like you love to explore like not just the physical side of it, but the psychological. And that's like when you can mix the two, it's the fucking best. I have in my notes from the wonderful people at Sexual World Records that you actually are, and again, this may be false because the notes guy has like, he's either really on or he's like really off. So I'm going to ask you if this is true. Apparently, Laci, you are a sexual world record holder for world's most strokes to an 8-inch dildo in 60 seconds, 296 strokes. Is this true?
Yes.
Okay. So tell me about that experience.
I had thought because I had talked to them, like kind of like, oh, if you have any world records, and like we all kind of want to do something monumental like that. For me, it would be a sexual world record, right? So I was just like, what could it be? What could it be? So we came up with that. That would be an intense stroke count. So went with the dildo instead of an actual cock. Although I've had volunteers since then to try on a real cock.
I'm sure you have had many volunteers.
And I did a few runs, like to make sure I did it correctly. That way, like as soon as I touch it, the time starts or whatever, as soon as I start talking, all the things to make sure like I cross the T's and all that stuff. So I did run through recording it a couple times. So I wonder if I could do a higher count just because I'd already kind of not exhausted myself, but I'd already attempted it a couple times without knowing the count, just because like I said a sentence wrong or I touched it before I was ready to start the dildo, that is. And so yeah, that's correct. I think I was like three tries maybe, and then I was like suspenseful to find out how many strokes it was. I had to come all the way up past the head and back down.
Okay. Yeah. Was there were you like lubing your hands up, or was that not, dude?
I was so lubed. I think a vat, if I would have just stuck my hand in a vat, it would have worked better. I think I went through like a whole small tube of lube just to make sure. So, and I would probably do it again if I had an actual cock to do it on. I would definitely, it would be gobs of lube.
I mean, for the people on YouTube, right? Like, can you give like a visual example right now of just like how fast you were going? I mean, you can just do it with your hand. You don't need to find anything. Oh, okay, yeah. All right, yeah. That's fucking pretty fast. Right.
I mean, I was trying to do it shorter because
Yeah. No, but
I do better when I'm at other angles, but...
Well, we had to get a visual in there. Just,
yes.
It doesn't need to be perfect. Yeah. The other thing that these notes are telling me, right? And again, like, is this true? Is this not? And like, we're going to talk about it if it is, but that you did an article in Hustler, and it was about being a fluffer in a gangbang. Okay.
Yes.
And okay. So tell me about being a fluffer in a gangbang, because I have so many questions, because I feel like the fluffers never get exposure. And I think it's very cool Hustler did that. And so like now I want to expose this audience to like what you get the call and it's like, hey, I need you to keep all these dudes hard. How many guys was it? Like, tell me everything.
I will do a quick brief synopsis. It is currently in the November Hustler issue. There's a brief subtitle on the top of the magazine, and it's inside on page 15.
Nice. Congratulations.
Thanks. It was great. It was so fun. Okay. So I am on Twitter, formerly known as Twitter, it is now X. And I follow some production companies. And the first one I worked with was Tadpole. And they are out of the Chicago area. So he put a call out like, hey, this gal I know, Rebel Rider, she wants to do 100-man gangbang. And I said, do you need a fluffer? Like, I didn't click to read more. It actually said, if you want a fluff, comment below. So I was like, do you need a fluffer? And that's how it started. They did the Chicago Exotica. I went up there and met them in person, went through all the testing process with all the guys, all the other 6 fluffers. There were 7 of us in total. I tried to do like a head count when I went back through and watched the editing footage. There was a lot of guy ass. I didn't have my camera set up quite right. So each of us fluffers kind of got to do our own promo footage and produce our own kind of stuff. And so there's a lot of guy ass. I'm really tempted just to do a guy ass video clip because there's so much, but I haven't done it yet. So anyways, I did practice a little. I did some throat training with dildos, which you can get them like different hards and softnesses, like the silicone and stuff like that. But I practiced with a dildo and trying to like suction cup it to a door and using like both hands at once, because I was all out. I was ready to go all out. Let's do all this. Because when I first volunteered, I was one of the first couple to kind of step up to the plate. And so I didn't know how many there was going to be. I'm like, 100 guys, that's a lot of dick. Right? Mm-hmm. So, I mean, potentially that's a lot of cocksucking. So I need to get my game right, So I was like practicing, running through my head. I did fail on like the whole knee pad thing, but I know for future reference what to do there. So I did the throat training. I met the people. We did the testing, showed up at the event. And that day, if I counted correctly, I sucked 34 cocks that day.
Okay.
Some
Impressive.
some
Very
came back
impressive.
through, and it was hard to see. Some people were masked, or I couldn't see their face or their number because everyone had a number. So that was my guesstimate. Was 34.
Okay. Yeah. Well, that's no small feat, my friend. That's fucking that's pretty. It's pretty good. And okay, so was it the first time that you were a fluffer?
Yes.
Okay.
I've
Yeah.
always
Were you
wanted to
nervous?
be a fluffer. I was fine, right? Did the testing, met the people. I was a little nervous because like some of the guys were at the testing, which was fine. Like, oh, hi, how's it going? Like, you know why we're all here. You know? And then,
See you later.
yeah. Yeah. So I was there and I got down on my knees. We were all starting to get ready to start. And it was like, a big horn blow. Just kidding. And all these guys stood up and started walking towards the lines. They were forming lines towards us. And I was just about ready to drop to my knees. And I looked around and I said, well, this brings things into perspective a little. And there was like a small chuckling in the crowd of cock. And so I dropped to my knees and the rest is history. But I was taking on like 2 and 3 guys at a time. It was great. Tadpole has footage up. I don't know if the official video's been released yet, but I think hopefully soon.
So you were blowing and jerking these guys off?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I'm just trying to paint a picture for like maybe someone who's never even heard of like whatever, because we'd like to cater to everyone on this podcast, right? So your job essentially, again, for the newcomers, right? No pun intended, but like your job is to keep the guys hard on their way to the main girl who's trying to have sex with 100 guys, right?
Yes. Yes. Or get them hard again if they've been through and they want to go through again. Like some people were a little shy and make it through the first go around, or waiting for a while. Got to get hard again. So, because there's a lot of guys. There's 3 holes. Yeah. So, and she was a trooper because she was on the table. She was using her hands and her mouth at the same time. So she had 3 guys around her at all times.
Yeah, I mean, doing a gangbang is fucking insane, right? And like props, right? But also like being a fluffer is like fucking a thing, like hard to do, right? And so like
I loved it. It was great. I have an oral fixation, so I loved it.
Yeah. I think, and it sounds like, again, like you did it because you're like into it, right? Sure, it's like work and like whatever, but you were like up to the challenge.
I wanted to suck a lot of dick. Cool. Yes.
Yeah. I also have to say that like I feel like knee pads are a move, and also I think that knee pads are becoming like a fashion trend because it's like kind of associated with blowjobs. I did see like Billie Eilish put out some like sexy photo where she's like booty shorts and knee pads, and it's like, I know she jumps around on stage, but it's like I could just see knee pads becoming like this
new thing. Next, like, perfect. I just need to invest in stock.
Right? Yes, absolutely. I think knee pads are going to become like a sexualized fashion statement. I feel people will like start mixing it in with whatever.
Right.
But yeah, no, I mean, so a good pair of knee pads for fluffing, right?
Yeah, and some of the other fluffers did like a line of 1 at a time. I'm kind of an overachiever. I like to stroke and suck at the same time. So I had to be mindful. I slowed down to 2. Yeah. After a little while.
So they were like, "Hey guys, form a single line 1 at a time. I don't need to be overwhelmed. Thank you."
Yeah, there were certain guys like if they were ready now, go up and tap. And if there was one guy, one fluffer who did a really good job, and the guy finished in her mouth. So she delivered it to Rebel personally. Oh wow! Yeah, if they were close, I got a few like really really close where I'm like, go over there. Then they could give further come right there.
Yeah, for sure. So like if a dude was if a dude was with you and you're fluffing this guy, you're blowing this guy, right? And he's like, "Oh my god, I'm gonna come." You're like, "Go, go, go!" And he would just go over and like come on her face, or
I wasn't over there. I think as much as possible, they wanted to go in.
oh, okay,
So I think if she didn't have an open orifice, I think maybe she cleaned it up. I don't know. I have no idea.
okay, yeah.
That's a good question.
Well, this is a systematic working of a gangbang. We're breaking it down in all the technical aspects. It's science, right?
So much science.
We need to know how it works. Yeah. So there was only a couple guys who blew it early. Did any of them blow it early with you?
A couple got close. I was mindful. I almost just instinctually went like this. And I was like, oh wait, no, go. And there was a couple that like pulled back and was like really close. I'm like, go. So a couple did get really close with me. Nobody was too eager with me, and that's fine.
Yeah. Is this the first time that this is the first time you did a fluffing thing, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Have you done any more since?
No.
You sound really disappointed. Oh my god. Okay. Well, maybe they'll see this podcast and they'll be like, "Hey, we need to hire her. She does a good job. She's devoted. She's gonna get some knee pads." Like,
yeah, just had me something super soft to kneel on, and we're like gold. Because I had like some a sweatshirt, and then at one time I had a pillow. The producer did provide some knee, pillows and things for us to sit or kneel on. So, but after about an hour and 20 minutes, I was done. And there were some other fluffers that were there for the duration. I think all in all, beginning to end, it was like between 2 and 3 hours. The whole event was probably closer to like 1.5 to 2, maybe.
Yeah. So, not bad.
Sucking cock for like almost an hour and a half. That's pretty crazy.
That's insane. That takes devotion. It takes a lot of devotion.
And I just want to shout out to the fluffers that went the extra mile and brought Vaseline for our lips and hair ties and all the extra things that one or the other of us didn't even think about. It was stellar.
Yeah, Vaseline for the lips. What a pro move.
Yes. That was exceptional.
Super pro.
I had chapstick, but that was like, it was not working.
Gone in 60 seconds, right?
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely.
A couple other things that they're telling me in the notes, or I should say in my ear because it sounds a lot more fun. Like there's someone in my ear. Ask her this. They're not. These are notes I was given by Sexual World Records. Ask her about forced orgasms. Okay. So they're saying that one of the things you're into is forced orgasms. Tell me about forced orgasms. We'd love this topic. This is a great topic. No one talks about it.
Really? Okay. So, all right. I've been described as like a marathon runner when it comes to being in the bed. So I thought it was fitting, and short story real quick. I thought it was fitting, like, hey, I could do porn because like I wouldn't come too fast, right? So that would be better, which initially it is. I've been called a marathon runner. So I like to be almost forced an orgasm because I'm like part of the 80% of vulva owners that need dual stimulation. So I need like internal, external, like right angles. No, but I need to be forced out of me because I will just harbor them and then get really frustrated. So, and I almost like to be talked out of it, like give it up, just get off already, quit waiting. It's going to feel enjoyable later. Like, of course it's sex. It feels good. It's great. You don't want it to end, right? Cause like that's the end game is coming for a lot of people, but in that regards, like a lot of it's play too. So it's fun, even if you don't get off, at least for me, because there's a lot of other aspects into it. As far as just like stimulation, the stimulation felt great, or the play, or the role play, or the impact, or whatever it is. So it has to be forced out of me sometimes because I'll just hold on to them. Some people like to be edged, which is like the complete opposite, where you get to just the point of climax and then you're not allowed to get off.
Yeah. See, that's like a whole thing. And that can be fun for a while, but then eventually, again, that payoff is something. But I feel like with edging, it just makes your orgasm harder usually.
Yeah. For me, it gets harder each time to get closer to climax. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally. Yeah. It sounds like your people pleaser, like piece of your brain that you really want to make sure someone has a good time, right? And like someone like you're doing all these things, you're like, yeah, I got them off. Like that is playing a role into the like waiting to have your orgasm, and then it becomes a thing. So it's like they're sort of working with each other but against each other. So
okay,
like,
we're done. No, I'm just kidding. Cool. Yeah, it is because I'm enjoying myself like 100%. You know, so for me, that's like the absolute affirmation that the other person's having fun is getting off.
Yeah, I mean,
you're absolutely right.
Like, just I mean, and I've always felt this way, but it's like when I'm having sex with someone, it's like I would much rather her get off than me. Like, you know, and great, like if I do, but like I can just fucking do it with whatever, you know, like on you or whatever. And so I totally understand that mindset of you'd rather have that sort of, and I had to be careful, like in my personal life, that I wasn't becoming too performative with that shit, because that became an issue for me later, where it's like, yeah, you know, I was like, you know.
Yeah, there are partners that I've had where I've had to just be like, I know the end of the scene. You know, if you want me to get off, I'm going to tell you what the combination is. So I'll tell you. Otherwise, like with personal partners, I'll be like, listen, this is how you need to word things in the bed with me in the bedroom, or it's not going to happen unless I absolutely know it's like last minute. Like you came, you're done, you're limp, you know, you're ready to sleep or something. And I'm just like, just 2 fingers, just please. Like,
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
like I've edged much.
Yeah, I mean, and I think it's different. Like for men, like when we edge, it's like it becomes like a harder orgasm. And for you guys, it's like, God damn it, you know what I mean? Like,
where'd it go now? Who has it?
Yeah, I mean, it's the age-old thing that like men really haven't learned, that it's the consistency, the constant like one thing, you know, instead of like, oh, I'm gonna come. Oh, really? Like that don't do that. You know what I mean? Nobody wants that. We've all had to learn the hard way.
What really does it for me, because we all know like that's the end game is getting off, right? But doing the other things in between is the fun part, and the experimental part with the whole time with each other, right? Or even by yourself, because that's stellar. I'm all about masturbation, don't get me wrong. But forcing the orgasm out of me is almost like, I don't know how to word it. I don't know how to express that. I'm almost forced to relax enough that it's going to happen, because it really turns me on when you get off. And I know I'm going to come, but I want you to come too, because that's really, really, really what I like. You word something to me like that. Oh, you like it when I get off? I will. Let's do it. You know?
No, that's amazing. Yeah, because I think that's so important, right? And you're right, it is like this hot thing. If somebody tells you that personal thing, what get me, I want, oh my God, you want me to get off? Holy shit. And
like in the heat of the moment. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, that's so great. Are you in your personal life, are you more like dominant or submissive, or is it both?
I'm kind of both. I am a switch. So, but if it were in a dynamic type situation, I would definitely be subleaning, for sure.
Yeah. Well, the reason I ask is because, you know, forced orgasm, like what the fuck's more dominant than that? Someone forcing you to come, that's like personal, that's like dominant, that's like real, you know? So it doesn't get much more dominant than that in that way.
Right. But with the other side of that coin, is because it's what I want, it doesn't mean that's what I get.
Yeah.
So
There you go.
the unachievable fantasy that I'm really into, as far as that goes, like this week, today, last 5 minutes, is that because it's not attainable for me right now. That's not an option for me. So having someone make me come, make me.
Yeah.
That's part of the fun of it.
Yeah, and again, it's that gray area that we talk about, that's sort of in between, like don't know what's going to happen, could go this way, could go that way, who knows? And I think that again is like so important to just like porn and like art and sex and like all of the things. So like just having sex with someone and being able to explore in that gray area with you're doing with your content, and it sounds like in your real life too. That's huge, because a lot of people, they just kind of like, and again, I'm not talking shit about anybody, but because
Right,
I
yeah.
do it too, but like a lot of people just go to the greatest hits. Like, oh, I know this gets you off, let's go, and then done, right? And that's cool to have a couple of those during the week. It's
Hey,
cool to
you
do that in
kind
your
of sometimes you
content.
need to, like, it's been a long day. Let's just rock the boat and go to
Yeah,
sleep.
exactly.
I need to
Yeah,
like flick the bean. It's been a long day, but let's just
yeah.
turn this vibe on high.
Get it done and fucking, fall asleep
Yep.
to some fucking Netflix or whatever. But like, I mean, I think that's probably the sex that most people are having, because everyone's stressed out and busy. So it's like, I know what works. I'm going to do it either myself or with you, and that's it. But I think people can get refuge from that by going to your content and like buying things and like working with you and like whatever, and then maybe take that into their own life, because that gray area, that exploration, I feel like if everybody could just put aside an hour for themselves or for their partner, where the focus isn't to come, it's just to kind of like explore and like be horny, I feel like we would all be
Yeah.
smarter.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I've been debating on some type of like how to, or videos, or some type of like furthering education, but I don't know what I need as far as education under my belt to do that. So you
I
heard it
mean,
here first.
yeah, and I don't think that what else could you possibly need? Look at your body of work. Look at your history. Like, you don't need it like a fucking piece of paper from some school. Like, you're actually doing it. You know what I mean? So, like, I feel like you would be more trusted than a therapist, a sex therapist, or a doctor or whatever, because like how many of them, and maybe I'm not
Maybe a
talking shit, but
lot.
maybe, but like,
Yeah.
yeah, but at the same time,
Maybe
like it's
none.
actual. There's like a ton of visual proof of what you've already done, what you're capable of, what you like. So yeah, I say fucking do it. Forget the accreditation. Like you've earned your badges. You can put out whatever content you want.
Fair enough. Fair enough. You heard. Can you send me just a clip of that so I can?
Oh, yeah, they will. They will clip all of these.
You
That one will
said
probably be,
so.
well,
Dustin
we'll see.
said so.
Yeah, yeah. My stamp of approval. There we go.
No, signed, sealed. Yep, you got it. Exactly.
Yeah.
Things that I find in those minutes, like on a break or something throughout the day, sending like a naughty text to someone that might be a play partner or a significant other or like a nesting partner, because I'm ambiamorous. So doing those little things throughout the day can kind of stoke the fire a little, I think.
Yeah. 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 You got to keep it hot.
Well, because what if you only get like an hour at night before
Sure.
bed? Because we're all machines, right? We all work.
No, exactly.
One to
Yeah.
5 jobs. So like just giving, and that's, if it's something that you enjoy, and then, or your partner or lack thereof, give yourself a minute to do whatever it is that gives you part of that like break. You
Right.
got 10 minutes, 10 minutes at work, half an hour, take 5 minutes and just be like,
Yeah.
go look at something and go back to work.
Right. You can go in the work bathroom no matter where you're at and like check stuff out. Check stuff out. It's me time. Sorry, I built that into my workplace environment, but
Leave me
no
alone.
one
I'm on
knows.
X account.
Exactly. Yeah. One of the other
Sorry,
things
I
that
had pneumonia a couple weeks ago, so
oh no,
I'm sorry. I
Jesus.
keep coughing.
That's all right. Everybody is going through this weird transition of like anxiety, COVID, flu, pneumonia, and then this
Allergies.
right, exactly. Allergies. So yeah, we're all going through it. I like coughed up part of like
A lung
something I
cookie.
ate like 4 weeks prior on an episode of my podcast. So we get it. We understand. It's okay. You're allowed to cough. You're a human being. One of the other things that Sexual World Records is telling me is that milking is something that you're into. So if this is true, okay, cool. So can you like, and for the noobs, right? Can you and I mean that in the most endearing way possible. We're all noobs to something, but can you explain what milking is and then
Absolutely.
go into yeah, great.
Yeah,
Love it.
I love it. Yes. So I actually am horrible with like shout outs because I think it's like the milking coach on X or something. Somebody I know kind of turned me on to him, but I didn't know it was a thing because like besides my mouth, I love to use hands. I also have a hand kink. So I love to use hands. I love to stroke cock and suck it. So another thing is like a position. It would be like a milking position where you're like on all fours, or even basically where like the cock is straight down, right? So it's like
a
a milking
cow.
sensation. Yeah. It's a
Yeah.
vulnerable position for a submissive or a trusting position for a partner.
Yeah.
And it's really fun to use with like different kinds of lubes, or if you want to add like a clad in there, little spanks or taps at the same time, or some hand spanking, or just a, people can milk themselves as well. It's just a position of, instead of being with your legs up, legs down, face on a pillow, just reaching underneath. It's the same concept.
Yeah, I mean,
I
and
like
this
it.
is different. Yeah, and this is different than prostate milking. We should definitely point that out.
Yeah, it's absolutely different. There is no entryway.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's not sticking her fingers in your ass for this. That's what we mean by that, everybody.
Yeah, thank you for
Okay.
clarifying.
Well, I feel like sometimes we need to lay it out, just like
No, that was a
because
good point. Yeah.
somebody might be confused and they might go for a milking session with someone and be like, wait, why are you not in my ass? And they might go for a
I
milking
thought you were
session with
going to
someone and be like, wait,
massage my
why are you not in
prostate.
my
I've been
ass?
treating
Like,
my
or whatever.
asshole for a week,
Well,
and
this
then
podcast never told me. Yeah, yeah,
nothing happened.
exactly. Look at these
This isn't how you
pictures.
do
Yeah,
it.
yeah. So what is it? That's not what I paid for. What about that is like horny for you? Like what do you appreciate? What turns you on about the milking thing?
I like to see what angles, speeds, positions stimulate a cock.
Yeah.
I like to use my hands and know that that would kind of have to be a bit for me on the more of the domineering, or not domineering, dom side for me. Because I think it would definitely, it makes the person a bit more in a vulnerable position, literally, for me, and to know it gives better access to the balls as well, depending on where, if you're in the front or the back of the leg. Usually, anyways, I just like it. I like to
Yeah.
play with cock. Like,
I mean, well said, well said.
but I mean, there's like different angles, positions, speeds, turning, like wrist points, with lubricants. The head's a whole other
Yeah,
experience.
no, really, it really is.
Yeah. Balls are
Yep.
beautiful.
I mean, like,
Balls are beautiful.
I
I just want to
think,
say that right now.
I think that's so. I mean, it feels like just like the last couple of years, like in popular culture, like women, like, oh, like don't forget the balls, like that's like always been a thing, but now it's like becoming more like I feel like in the early 2000s,
Good.
yeah,
It's
for real,
great.
yeah, because it feels great. So like that's awesome. So I have two things One is a game. I have a question I'm going to ask you. Then we'll play a game. Right here at the end. It's really, I mean, it might be a little bit of a pressure. I wouldn't get nervous about it. It's a fun one. Okay. Since you're giggly nervous, we're gonna.
I am always. I'm like the person who laughs at the funeral. No, it's horrible.
Well, I mean, that's how some people deal with it. I always like whenever I go to a horror movie, the guys, someone's like getting gutted or like just ripped apart, and I'm like,
yes.
Like people are like, this guy's sick. Yeah.
Yes, that's me too. Like I watch like Halloween type of movies as much as possible.
Yeah. Just laughing the whole time.
Yes.
Well, you're in good company.
Like, oh, it was a good kill.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay, so the game is fuck, marry, kill. And okay. All right. So I'm going to give you 3 people.
I'm probably going to be horrible at this because I don't know people.
Think that I'll do my best. I don't think there's like a way to be horrible unless you just are like, I kill them all. But like, all right, fuck, marry, kill. Your choices are Rebel Rider, Ricky Greenwood, and Sherry Noir. Who do you fuck? Who do you marry? Who do you kill?
The only one, I'm horrible with names. I know Rebel Rider. I would fuck her.
Okay.
And then there was like a Sherry and what?
Sherry Noir and Ricky Greenwood.
Ricky Greenwood. I want to marry Sherry and then kill
Ricky. Yeah. Ricky. Yeah. Okay. Perfect. Nice job.
Was that good? Because I'm really horrible with names. Like if you probably show me a picture, I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm so bad.
At some point when the budget
I'm sorry, people.
When they increase the budget for this show, maybe I'll hold up pictures or something. But like, I don't know.
Yes, like cue card. Be like,
yeah, we'll get there. We'll get there. This is season 1. So, they're working on it. And you gave a phenomenal answer. I mean, people, there's
I'm so glad I passed.
There's no wrong way to there's no wrong way to do that. So I want to ask you the last question, and then we'll have you tell them like where they can find all your stuff. But sure. What's coming up from you? And I know you said in the beginning you shot some films and like you can't really talk about it, but like, can you give a tease or like a little bit of like a preview as to like what's coming up? What can your fans expect?
I am doing, I'm going to be personally dabbling more in the BDSM stuff. There's already more girl and pup play coming. I am the stuff I've been recording for companies, is more, natural appearance, but like 3-way type, things. I don't even know quite the spinoff. There is some virtual reality in there coming.
That's always fun.
So, and I hope to work with more companies in the future and maybe some more stuff with Tadpole because I know he's mentioned maybe some more gangbangers or orgies in the future. So fingers crossed there. That's what I do know because a lot of the stuff I've done, even stuff that I did in September isn't coming out until February, April. So, between backlogs and other things, I'm sure some of it's out, but I'm in the process of putting all the sites that I've done work for and worked for on my Linktree.
Nice.
And you can find that on my X account, which is formerly known as Twitter. And it's the same name. Like if you just Google, you'll probably find more than I know is there. If you just Google Laci Foxx, LACIFOXX. I'm working on a .com, but otherwise, like booking information for shoots and stuff is on my Linktree for Model Red. I'm with Model Red and Sex Work PR.
Nice.
And so, yeah, I'm adding links to the Linktree because I had a bunch like right in a row, like one a month for the last 3 months that I've worked for sites. Anywhere from like Slut Wife Confessions to Desperate Amateurs, Private Society, Blush Erotica. There's a lot of different stuff coming out that I haven't uploaded their links to my tree yet. So everything I've done, all the sites, it says solo, non-solo. I even do a little bit of erotic writing here and there.
Awesome.
It's all on my Linktree. So
Laci Foxx, thanks for being on the Sexual World Records podcast. Besides all that,
thank you so much for having me.
Where can they hang out with you, like on OnlyFans or or Instagram, even if they want to stay like in the fucking PG realm or whatever.
Yes. My Instagram is PG. Well, as much as PG, I mean, it's safe for work.
PG
my
17,
Insta,
right?
no, 18 plus, my friend.
Well, no, I know, but I meant like
I know. I'm just messing with you.
Jesus, the FBI guy is gonna be knocking this door down any second.
I'm trying to cover your ass, okay?
I meant like NC-17, PG said, Jesus, I'm done.
Yes. Like, never have her on again. She's busting my balls.
No. I'm shooting myself in the fucking big mouth I have.
No, so. I'm on Instagram, and I was actually working on getting like a safe for work Twitter, because it's been so kind of crazy over there with rules, regs, and people getting like banned and flagged. And so I'm working on that. Excuse me. Otherwise, Instagram is pretty much the only. I do go live on Chatterbait, but I am in between. My interactive toy died, so it's actually in shipping right now. I'm waiting to get a new one, and I've been traveling a lot, so I've not been on there, but since like September. But yeah, I'm trying to work on OnlyFans Live, so I got my internet fixed. I'm going to be going on Loyal Fans, doing video calls on there, and so I was putting out a schedule, which I released on my Twitter or X, whatever. So once I get that interactive toy in and I can lay out, it'll probably be starting in like December instead of September. I kind of skipped October. November is kind of like
that's okay.
Settling back into being home and not traveling. So the live schedules will be up in December again.
Well, amazing. Thank you for being here. I can feel them just like rushing over right now to like everything you mentioned and like dumping out all their fucking credit card information into all your stuff.
It's so worth it. So. It's so worth it. My OnlyFans has like over 400 media, and it's like $5 a month.
See, guys, go.
Fucking worth it.
Yeah, we're done here. Go over there and give her some money.
Why are you still here? Go. No. But no, I do have like a lot of stuff on my mini vids. I think the 20th video is coming out over there, so I just started putting them up in like May. So yeah, I'm pushing content like really hard.
No, that's amazing, and I'm sure they'll want to have you back, and maybe I'll still be the guest host at that point. We'll see, but thank you for being here.
And maybe I'll have questions for you, and we'll do like the marry, kiss, kill thing.
Yeah,
and I'll have pictures.
Yeah, anytime. Fire questions at me. I'm sure that we'll record something again together in the future, and it'll be more of like a dynamic Q&A back and forth. But no, it's been amazing having you on the show, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Giant thank you to Laci Foxx for being on the podcast with me. Go check out everything she is up to, because it's a lot. I have a feeling you're going to be seeing a lot of her in the coming year, 2024. You can check out Sexual World Records everywhere at Sexual World Records. Follow us on YouTube. Give us some likes. Give us some comments. Tell us how you're enjoying the show. And until I see you again, which will be very, very soon, cheers. I don't know. See ya. Yeah.